communication from the backfield to the front, from the front to the backfield to the perimeter. I think that'll get taken care of. And it is a standard. Let's just say this. A lot of people would say, man, you guys got 100 yards, good. Well, good is the enemy of great, as you know. And around here, our standard is great.
You like that?
We need to, we magnify the things that we don't quite do as well as we would like. And that's why we're great. And that's why our O-line is, where they are. But we have to be better than we were last week.
Final fourth down play when Jared tripped. Can you just explain the degree of difficulty for both Jared and David finishing that play after he starts to fall?
I cannot explain the level of difficulty. It looked pretty tough. I mean, but they're professional athletes, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not like me going out there trying to take a handoff. I will say the level of concentration, if you watch Jared's eyes as he's looking at the handoff and David's eyes as he's looking at the mesh point, I think it was more discipline and just concentration on that detail. And to be able to do that in that moment, that's the difference in amateurs and professionals. The amateur would feel the moment as, oh my God, it's 4th and 1. I got to get this done. Whereas the true professional, it's another play for them. They're going to execute as well as they can. I really like the fact that even though he tripped, I mean, his eyes were great to the mesh. The mesh point was correct. David had to go down a little bit and get it, and then he was able to finish the run with his shoulder pads down. So I don't know about the level of difficulty, but I just know that was a professional play. Yeah, very professional.
There were a handful of block attempts your guys had in that game where it seemed like the rusher was on Jared immediately. How difficult is that for running back when the rusher comes through? Particularly, I think some of those were maybe play action. And how do you think you guys handled the assignments?
Yeah, I thought they did really well in that. We were pleased with having to come from the run action position, and they were already, really in the A gap and being able to squeeze that tight. That's something that we practice. We understand that. Jared also understands that we're going to do whatever we can do to peel that guy off of him without hitting him. That's one of the hardest details of it, is when you are shaving tight in run actions, whether you're in a draw action fake or a run action fake, is that when you are trying to cut tight back across the quarterback, you can't hit him at all. Can't hit a hand, can't hit an elbow because of ball security. So you have to be as detailed as you can, be as close and as tight as you can, and then still build momentum to be able to cross-body block these guys. You're not able to get great hands on them. You're not really able to bring your post foot with you when you do it, so you just got to basically sell out. So sometimes you get ran over with those, but the biggest deal is that JG doesn't get hit. And then there's a couple other opportunities where, we had some leakage and our guys just stood in there and took, a couple of shots, which, that's what our position is. Our position, we have to protect the quarterback. We have to protect the football. So we're, it's a little bit easier when we are in the gun and we can see it. It's a true drop back situation. They do a great job of that. But now we're starting to get to the upper level of football where we can actually run action, protect us almost as well as we can in a drop back situation. So we think that they're doing a pretty good job there.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, canvas open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like Lysacin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And I am very, very excited because I got my studio back and I thought it was something that I did wrong. I thought it was something that was going something on my end. I've been freaking out for weeks, and it was StreamYard. I hook everything up to Restream, and now everything.
Playoffs.
Oh, I got
We're
it.
going to buy the kneecap
We
off.
got it all
We've
back.
had enough of that shit.
It
We've had
sounds
enough
so
of that.
loud too. It's so good. It's so way. I mean, way even when I could hear them before, they were way in the background.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing, but I still haven't figured out here how to solo myself. I don't know. Can I do that here? Mirror my camera. Double click on it, doesn't work. So it looks like when we're on here, we're on here. Like there's no bringing Mike from the background. But let me go through the little schneid right here. We are here. It is the Lion Villain Report with your host Russell Wayne, and today we have main event Mike in the house, and we're going to be doing our lock picks. We're going to be doing our lock picks for week 15, and we do this every week, and we are broadcasting live right now into, I got to find my stuff here. We are broadcasting live into the Lions the Lions Facebook page, the Lions, not the Villain Squad Facebook page, and we now have 60,000 followers in there, and the ladies' man Leon Phelps would like to thank you. I got my little bottle of Cavaquier sitting next to me and a couple lady friends, and I'm going to enjoy the Villain Report like I do every day. Thank you for 60,000 fans and acknowledging the villain.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Yeah, we're going to be doing something. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Welcome one, welcome all. Here's another cool thing that we can do, Mike. Check this out. Boom. We can say hello to everybody into the comments right now. Look at that, Mike. Doesn't that look awesome?
That's pretty slick.
That's pretty slick right there. And we can still highlight some of these comments, but I want to say hello to Henry Gray, who's in the house right there. Good morning, Lions family and villains.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
We're ready. Right here is the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page. You can subscribe there at Lions Villain Squad. And actually in the comments right here, it looks like the link like lights up. So you might be able to go right there. And that's pretty cool. Good morning to you, Davey.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
Good morning to you, Dwayne. What's going on?
Say hello to my little friend.
And if those are too loud in your ear, I don't know where we're at yet with this stuff. So if it's too loud, I might be able to back them off a little bit. But I love being able to hear them in my ears now. Chad's in the house. Jeremy B is in the house. Jay Smooth is in the house. I hope that your butt isn't feeling too bad after the whooping that we put on it. A clean sweep of the Green Bay Packers this year. You know, check out the brooms. That's right. Check out the brooms. And right there, you know, Packer fan tears, you know, about the refs. Here you go. Sorry, Jay, I got to give it to you a little bit. It was the refs. Oh, my God. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. It was the refs, Mike. Say that to a Lions fan. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh, gosh. Everybody, thank you for dropping the Y's in there, being able to hear. It's been a while since I've been able to hear myself in my headphones right here. Good morning to Tyler, and good morning to Jeremy B, who's in the house. Good morning to Maurice, who is in the house. And Jeremy says that it sounds great. It's nice. It's been a while since we've had nice things, Mike. This is kind of a weird thing. And then we can take the things right back into there. And today is Lockpick. It's Lockpick Thursday, Mike. And
I know. I'm stoked though about this whole format. Looking at this whole Restream thing, this is awesome. I mean, StreamYard was like the Chicago Bears, it was tanking on purpose, but not on purpose. Like it was still up and running, but it was making everything not work and frustrating you so much. I'm glad you got this all worked out. It looks great, Russ. It's going to be a hell of a
I don't even know what I'm doing yet.
It's going to be a hell of a stretch run.
This is like, this is great. I mean, it's like being a kid in a candy store because I'm not good at it yet. Like I'm still trying to figure out where everything is in my little producer studio right here, learning where all the little buttons are. But it's like every time something comes out, it's like pretty cool. Like check out this deal here with Jack Hamill, and we can look at that from your view. Me and you can be over here on the side. Me and you can be over here on this side over here. We never had this kind of freedom.
Yeah, I like that right there. That view looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I can sense the excitement in you, man. You are like a kid on Christmas morning with this thing.
I just love being able to do stuff, looking in here, and then there's a lot. I can create different scenes in here, and this is going to be really, really cool, especially when it comes to being able to I should be able to do that right here, right? Yep. So there we go for our betting lines, Mike, and you can go ahead and take over, dude. This is your gig.
Prediction Thursday here on the Villain Squad Network. And last week we didn't fare all that great. We did both hit the Monday night game thanks to our good friend Amani Aworiarie. I still can't say his name. Glad he's not on our team anymore. But Cincinnati did cover the 5 against Dallas, and we both had that, which means that brought my record for the week at a dismal 5-8, and your record for last week at a respectable 8-5. But we do have a game scheduled for tonight, and it's a big divisional game. It's the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are favored by 3. And both of these teams trying to keep pace with the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks out there in the NFC West. Both of these teams right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I don't think either one, they both be on the bubble right now. So this game, uber important for both. The Rams coming off a must win against a tough Buffalo team in a 44-42 shootout. The Niners just struggling with injuries. I told you last week to go out to your fantasy wires and pick up Isaac Guerendo for the San Francisco 49ers. He ends up scoring 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. So hopefully you listen to me on that one. But he is now hurt. So another running back goes down for San Francisco. It's a foot injury. He's questionable for tonight. And that's all I've got on this game. It's going to be a tough one to pick. I'm going to go ahead and take the Niners, though. You got to take someone, and I'll take the home team in an even matchup.
Well, I'll just do the opposite. That seems to serve me well. Just pick the opposite of Mike, and then you can go 8-5 instead of 5-8. I'll go ahead and take the Rams and the points.
Yeah, that's a real sound strategy. Just whatever Mike takes, take the other, because you would be plus money right now if you just done that on every game.
Russ, you're so skillful.
You've had enough of that shit.
So there you go. Put it in the comments. We want to hear what you got to say. Henry says he thinks the Rams as well. Jeremy B says it's going to be San Francisco. A good call out here by Jeremy says the defense of the Rams is hurt. Okay, does this work just like it does? Okay, I'm working here. Chata says Rams are going to pull the upset on the road even. Jeremy says if you're going to take now go out and get running back Patrick Taylor for San Francisco. They have tried everything to not put Patrick Taylor in the game all year, and I think they're forced to now. So that's a good call. Put it in the comments. We want to hear what you think on these predictions on Predictions Thursday. Also, next game on the docket is the largest point spread of the year, folks. It is the Baltimore Ravens at the dismal New York Giants, the abysmal, I should say, New York Giants. 16 points. You imagine being a 16-point underdog in your own building against a team that's lost 4 ball games? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take the Giants. That's just too many points. We saw Cleveland pull the upset on Baltimore already this year. It will be out in the elements, out in the cold. That's going to keep the points down, I think. I'm going to go ahead and take the Giants. It's just too many points.
I agree with you. But this is one that I am going to take the Giants in the points, but it's not going to surprise me one bit to see Lamar Jackson go dump truck that team.
Right.
By 30.
And the Giants could be playing for that first overall pick, try to get themselves a quarterback. They might not be trying all that hard, but in the elements, out in the cold, I know here in Michigan, it's 12 degrees outside right now. I know it's cold in New Jersey as well. This game is, both these teams are outdoor teams, so I don't think it'll affect them that much, but I do think it'll keep the scoring down, and hopefully that'll keep the point spread down, since Russ and I are both running with the Giants. Next game on the tilt is the Washington Commanders at the New Orleans Saints, plus 7.5. So New Orleans 7.5 at home. They're getting 7.5. I'm going to take the home team and the points. I think Washington has been slowly sliding down and coming back down to earth after that red hot start. Jaden Daniels isn't sneaking up on anyone anymore. And Demario Davis is pretty damn good in the middle of that defense. I think he can keep Jaden Daniels in check. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Saints and interim coach Darren Rizzi, who I love.
Even with that bum Derek Carr. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. But just on the premise of 7.5 points, it's too many. You can win that in the NFL. If you win by more than 7 points, then that's kind of a dump trucking, because that's the NFL and all these guys are good. So 7.5 points, that's just, yeah, give me the Saints and the points.
All right. Russ and I agreeing on the last two. Put it in the comments. We want to hear what you think. Next, the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs travel to the Mistake by the Lake at Cleveland, plus 4. Cleveland, real tough at home, real tough out in the elements. Jameis Winston going to throw 3 touchdowns and 4 picks. And I think they'll keep it close. I'm an idiot. I'm going to take Cleveland and the points. I love home dogs, man.
Yeah, home dogs that are, getting 4 points. But I mean, sooner or later, Patrick Mahomes has got to show up and be Patrick Mahomes. And I think that it's going to be here down the stretch, getting his team ready. So give me the Chiefs -4, just so I can disagree with you.
No, and it's a good pick. Is 4 really even enough points for, Kansas? This seems like a lock, right? Kansas City, I keep betting on them every week, and every week they win, but they don't cover. And so every week I take a loss riding with the Chiefs. And I know that Cleveland defense is tough. It's in Cleveland. If the Chiefs can pull out a 2-point victory again, then I'll win.
If it was a rivalry game, I would probably, ride the points, but this isn't a division game. Cleveland's just kind of, I guess you're hoping if you're Cleveland. Myles Garrett is like the will of man. It's like it doesn't matter what their record is, but maybe that team might give up if they're, starting to lose here down the stretch. But
Chana thinks it'll be a 5-point victory for the Chiefs. Welcome to the program, Aaron. Aaron says, hoping for a Cleveland win. Yeah, we're all rooting against that new evil empire out there in Kansas City. And Jeremy B says, Browns cover, but Chiefs win by 2 with a game-winning field goal again. Good call out.
Yeah, that sucks.
Next game on the docket is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans, +5. Tennessee at home. They're finally coming off of a win. I'm still going to take Cincinnati. Tennessee, if they had L'Jarius Sneed, I'd probably take the points, but Cincinnati covered on the road against Dallas. I'm pretty sure they can do it against the Titans.
All right. Gosh, this is tough.
This is a tough
it's not. No, it's not. F the Titans. Give me the Bengals and minus the points. And some smooth jazz. We need some background music for doing this stuff. And I just want to test out the stuff anyway.
Barely hear it. Have that going the whole time when we do Prediction Thursday. Absolutely. Next game on the slate. The Fish traveled to the Texans. Miami +3. They're getting points on the road going into Houston. Houston sliding. Miami starting to surge. I'm going to go ahead and take the Miami Dolphins and give me the 3 points.
Just so I could disagree with you. No, I like the Houston Texans. I think that they've been underperforming. And gosh, man, Miami has been playing a little bit better, but gosh, I really like CJ Stroud for stupid reasons, right? Yeah, give me Texans -3. I think they put it together this week.
Very cool. We go against each other again. That is only the second game on the slate so far that we have disagreed. The next one's a real stinker. The terrible Jets versus the horrible Jaguars. In Jacksonville, Jaguars are getting 3 points. Mac Jones under center and Aaron Jones under center, respectively. I don't know which one's worse at this point. You know what, Russ? I'm just going to let you pick, and then I'm going to take whatever you don't.
Oh, man. Well, I always lean towards defense if I'm going to take anything right here. 3 points isn't too much. So give me the Jets -3.
Russ takes the Jets. That by default gives me the Jacksonville Jaguars. I hate it, but we'll take it.
Actually, I went against my own little thought that I would have on that because it's two shitty teams. I should have taken the points, but whatever. I'll stick with the Jets.
Jay Smooth says take the Texans against the Dolphins. So does Dwayne Keene. Jerome is in the house. What's up, Jerome?
So, Mike, I don't know if you can see it over there, but we probably don't. I'm not saying if you want to highlight somebody's, that's fine if you see it out there, but we got them running on the right-hand side. Everybody's picks are getting in there.
So we don't need to do that anymore.
Well, unless there's a real good take in there or something like that. You want to highlight it, you can still highlight it, but they are going to the right of the screen.
Oh, so that is new. I got to get used to that.
Yep, and Dwayne can't hide behind those records anymore, saying he was 8-4.
Next game on the docket, the horrible Cowboys at the horrible Panthers. This whole slate has been a stinker so far.
We're just spoiled.
Dallas at Carolina -3. Carolina playing real good, but Dallas is going to seize this opportunity to get another W for the season. So I'm going to take Dallas.
Oh, we couldn't disagree more. Carolina Panthers actually look like a football team the last 3 weeks. And I think they're going to continue to get better. They're progressing, and Dallas keeps on going down. I think the Panthers win this game by double digits. Like, right. I think they blow the Cowboys out.
So isn't that third graphic the money line? So for Carolina to win outright is -148, even though they're a 3-point underdog. What's that tell you? That tells you that people agree with you that Carolina could win this game outright.
Yeah, and then you get to see that stupid look on Jerry Jones' face again.
In fact, I can't think of any game I've ever seen where the line looks like this. Dallas is +3, but for them to win the game outright is plus money on the money line? That is really odd.
That means that, you know what it means, Mike? It means that Vegas is more than happy to take stupid Dallas's money.
Yeah, it's just bait, isn't it? It's a worm on a hook for the Dallas fans.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll take your money. We'll give you +3. We know you're going to get blown out. It should be +9.
Garbage game. Cowboys at Panthers -3. Russ takes the Panthers. I got the Cowboys.
Yeah, we spent
the
too
next
much time talking about
game on the slate is the best game on the docket this week. It's the Buffalo Bills at your Detroit Lions. -2.5. This line started at 1.5 at the beginning of the week, which means people are loading up on the Lions on this after the Bills showing in LA last week, giving up 44 points to the Rams. The money is starting to shift onto the Lions, -2.5. I hate this 2.5 point spread, but I'm not betting against the Lions anymore. Even last week they won, but we both lost the pick, Russ, by 0.5 point. Same thing might happen this week. I think it's a 27-25 game. It's a 2-point game. I'll take the Lions, though, and roll the dice.
No sirree. No sirree. They ain't going to do it this time. The Buffalo Bills are a bucket of smoke. And if you stop it's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. I looked at that team. We broke it down yesterday, and we looked at that team, And I don't fear your defense. I don't fear your defense. You better be prepared to score 40, Buffalo Bills, and you can't do it. And you won't do it. You're going to lose by 10. Detroit Lions -2.5. Give it to me.
Wow. You can see in the comments there that the villains all agree the Lions by at least 4 points. Interesting. The
We're a
Indianapolis
bunch
Colts
of homers.
at the Denver Broncos. This is a battle of the horses. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Denver, where they are a 4-point underdog. Yeah, give me Denver. I really look. This was a game that Indianapolis absolutely has to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They have such a soft schedule for the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and Denver was the one game sticking out that they had to get to have a chance. If they lose this game, the season's over for the Colts. I'm still going to take Denver, though, because Anthony Richardson just isn't it. He does not have enough. Bo Nix, on the other hand, matures more and more every week. The game is starting to slow down for him. Sean Payton, he has totally bought into what Sean Payton is selling over there. Give me the Denver Broncos, and I'll lay down the 4 points.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Colts +4 because the Broncos are going to win by 2.
And that's a good call. They have a good defense in Indy and some really good players. And they love to dial up pressure in the blitz, and that's what usually gives young quarterbacks like Bo Nix fit. So I think that's a good pick.
I had to spin it like that because I feel in this game, because Richardson is Richardson and they played good defense in Denver, that he's bound to try to do too much on a play and throw a pick six. I could just see that defense doing that to him.
Mm-hmm, that's a good call. And, the air is thinner in Denver, and this time of year it's even thinner. So Jeremy B with the call out says the Colts will get gassed by the end of the fourth quarter. So that's a good call out, too.
That is a good call.
And by the way, we have a full slate of games. For the first time since week 4, we have 16 games on the docket this week. So it's a full slate. So let's keep rolling right along. This next one's a really good one. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Eagles -5.5. The Eagles are considered the hottest team in the league, even though the Lions have won more in a row. They've won by a bigger point differential. Everybody's loving on the Eagles right now. There is some dissension in their locker room or on the bench between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, which was called out earlier this week by a teammate and by Brandon Graham. And they're trying to squash it, but it doesn't feel like it's nothing to me. I think there's something happening here. Even if the Eagles do win this game, I don't think they cover. I'm going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers too, because I think they're going to win the game. And if I were you right there at that +205 right there, if you're out there and you want to throw some low-hanging fruit, throw a little bit of chunk of cheese on something, you want to double your money and not lose too much, that might be a good bet, because Mike Tomlin, this is a tailor-made Philadelphia Eagle trap game with Mike Tomlin. I mean, that it's a blessing getting that 5.5 points with the Pittsburgh
It really
Steelers.
is, especially this time of the year. If you look at Tomlin's record at this time of the year, he always wins or covers the spread throughout his career in the last 5 weeks of the season. The record is staggering. I don't have it in front of me, and I apologize for that, but I have seen that stat before. It is very, very convincing. So
I mean, who's betting that? Who's betting that -250? How much are you betting that right on the line for Philadelphia Eagles? You putting that on the line at -250? Think about that. Think about that, guys. That's just a little food for thought.
How about Aaron's comment here, though? The Steelers haven't won in Philly since the 60s. That doesn't change you? That doesn't sway your opinion at all, Russell?
Well, it's like, since the 60s. So it's like, how many times did they don't play like once a year or anything? It's not like a yearly thing. So
not at all, no.
So like every 5 years they play, what are we talking about? Like 8-10 games,
Well, still, those were great Steeler teams since the 60s, and they're just not able to get it done in Philly. I mean, sometimes there's there's something to those things. But
Oh,
it's
the-
not
the
changing my
Lion
mind.
fan
I'm
can't
taking
listen to
Tomlin
that.
in December.
Is a Lion fan listening to that? With that type of talk, you know, the Lions will never win because we've never won.
Well, Dwayne Keene says it's been 59 years. 59 years. Wow. Next, the New England Patriots at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's got to get this game if they want to stay in business. They need to go up big. They can't let Drake May and the Patriots hang around in this game. They're at home. Give me Arizona minus the 6. They've got to win this game, and I think they need to get out in front early, establish the run with James Conner, and get this one in the win column. I'm taking the Cardinals.
Man, I'm curious at a -6 why it's only a $1.95 plus on that straight line. So I don't know. This just seems like a game that the Patriots could get in there and get closer and just be annoying, just enough to cover that. So all the people that knew that Arizona was going to win are going to win, you know, because they'll win, but they won't win by 6. Give me New England and the points.
All right, we disagree again. Put yours in the comments. We definitely want to hear it. You were watching the Villain Report with Russell Wayne right here on the Villain Squad Network. I'm Main Event Mike, along with Russell Wayne. Really glad you all are here today. Don't forget, is this show brought to you by NFL Shop, or did they not pay us again?
Yeah, I completely dropped the ball on that, but we have like a really, really cool way to do that. Check this out, Mike. Boom. And that actually throws the link in there automatically because Restream is better than StreamYard. And you can use that link or that QR code. It's all nice in there. I don't even have to put it in anymore.
We're 2 weeks away from Christmas, folks. You still got time to get your NFL fan on your list, some really cool NFL swag, Lions swag, or even Go Packers swag. You can use that QR code there and leverage the power of the Villain and save up to 30% off. Why not? You know you got some people left on your Christmas list. NFLshop.com, an official marketing partner of the Villain Squad Network. Moving on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel out to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, where the Chargers are favored by 2.5 points. Chargers making a playoff run, but you know what? The Bucs
we got
are
3
hanging
here.
tough. The Bucs have lost 2 to the Falcons, and they are tied in the division with the Falcons. I'm going to go ahead and take Tampa Bay. I think they're going to win this game outright. I've been betting against Tampa and getting my butt kicked. I'm not going to take it this reason. I realize the Chargers are hot, but I like the 2.5 points on the road. Give me the Baker Mayfields.
The Baker Mayfield.
It's 3 points now.
The Baker Mayfields fighting for their playoff life against, man, that Jim Harbaugh dude. He just makes that team. He's got an ugly team that wins ugly. They can win ugly. And I'm trying to, oh God, this is a really, really hard one. I'm trying to be my fear. I purposely don't look at these first because I want to be, I don't want to be prepared. I want to be able to use my mind and my heart on the spot right here. And this one is a really, really hard one. So because it's really, really hard, I am going to take Tampa Bay in the points. I will take the points if it's hard for me to decide. That's what I got to do. I got to do it.
So Russ and I are aligned on that one. Last game on the docket for today. There are 2 Monday night games this week, folks. But the last game that we're going to predict here on Prediction Thursday is the Green Bay Packers at the Seattle Seahawks +3. So Green Bay on the road, favored by 3 against a division-leading team. This is odd. This is really odd to me. I would take Green Bay if they were getting the 3. I would take Green Bay if this game was +1 or -1. I'd take Green Bay. But +3, I'm going to have to go with Seattle on this one. I think Green Bay wins this game outright. But being at home, that 12th man in Seattle can play into it. Also, there's the Honolulu Blue flu, the hangover after playing the Lions. Teams usually lose after they play the Lions. So I just love that 3 points being at home. I've got all the home dogs this week, Russell. Who you got?
I got Seattle in the points right here because I think they are going to win the game. I don't even think they've lost a game at home this year. They got the 12th man is a real thing. This isn't like just something they say because fans show up at the stadium. Fans show up at all 32 stadiums or 30 stadiums. Or
we got Jay Smooth and Steve in the comments right now. A couple of Packer fans. Steve says last time Green Bay won in Seattle was 2008. Wow.
That's a tough place to play, man, especially if you're going to give them points. You're going to give them points on the road?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah,
I don't get that. I feel like that's a glitch in the Matrix or something's going on there.
The money is on Green Bay, though, when you look at that, because Seattle to win the game outright is plus 124. So
Kenneth Walker is out. He's not going to play. Maybe that has something to do with it. It is certainly odd. But Russ and I both taking the Seahawks, and that wraps up your slate for Week 15 on Prediction Thursday.
All right.
Don't forget on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it's the Main Event Football Show. At that time, we will be picking the 2 Monday night games, which is Chicago at the Vikings. It's War Week. And Atlanta at the Raiders. That's the 2 Monday night games. We'll pick those on Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in to the Main Event Football Show.
I'm trying to. I didn't put one of those in. I'm still adding all of my stuff to the background yet, so I will have Main Event Football Show stuff on there. I thought I had one in there.
Paul Jones says no team that lost to the Lions has covered the spread the next week. I don't think that's true. I think it was Tennessee. After they lost to the Lions, they actually beat the Patriots in New England, where New England was favored by 1 or 2 points, I believe. So I think that was broken, Paul, but you could be right.
So there it is. Lions Villains Squad Facebook page. Thank you to everybody that is following the page because we hit 60,000. We are approaching 61,000 right now. And that put you to sleep?
No, I'm just I'm looking at my lines here, and I'm looking at this Buffalo at Detroit 2.5 points. I mean, is that what you're going to talk about on the show today, Russ? Is looking ahead to Buffalo? Is that what you got slated to talk about?
Well, yeah. I mean, I wanted to talk about a couple of different things right here. Is we got some help on the way, and also, it's like, how the hell do you slow down Josh Allen? And actually, that is not what I wanted to do. I didn't even remember all the stuff that I wanted to do here. But what I want to do is take the last 10 minutes or so here, or at least look at this. But it's 12 minutes of Kelvin Shepherd talking about the linebackers right here. I listened to this morning, and I really wanted to share it with you guys. And I think that would be this one right here. Yes. Okay, so here's Kelvin Shepherd talking about the linebackers, talking about Jack Campbell.
Then the way he progressed, I know dating back to the spring, I spoke with some of you all about his progression as a player coming in last year, no matter the round he went. The vision me, AG, Dan had for that player from what we saw on his tape, we knew there were things that needed to be corrected, and Jack took full accountability, and now you're seeing that out there on the field. I told him the other day, leading up to the Green Bay game, I felt like, and not just because I'm his coach, he's playing at, if not the highest level, one of the highest levels at that position in the league the last month.
I'm just wondering from what we've learned from Dan, Aaron, if the opportunity presented itself, your comfort level, if you got the opportunity in the future to be a defensive coordinator, do you feel ready to run your own defense?
Yes. I mean, I would be lying to you to say no. Absolutely, and that's what happens here. It's not just the players within the building, but it's the coaches as well. And I'm very appreciative of the way that Dan, Brad, AG has structured this thing to kind of put you in leadership roles within your own right, within your room. As many times AG allows me to speak up in front of the defense and things like that, they don't have to do those things. I have friends that coach in other buildings, and I know that they're not afforded those opportunities. So I don't take them lightly. I mean, every day I step foot in this place, It's an unbelievable opportunity to grow as a person, as a player, being able to watch how Dan operates. I had the ability to watch him operate, being in the locker room as a player down in Miami, now as a coach, and on both ends of that spectrum, I could tell you I would not rather have the opportunity to learn from another man than him. And then schematically, the things that AG has done with the personnel these last 4 years, I mean, he's just getting this kind of, I guess, recognition. But I mean, I stood up at this podium, and you guys know me, and gave you the brutal, honest truth and told you the things that that man has brought to the table.
Do you like to teach conceptually? You know, it's kind of a grad level concept for a lot of players.
So, Mike, when you hear that, when it's like, this man is going to be a defensive coordinator, maybe a head coach. But what I heard there was when Aaron Glenn leaves to go take a head coaching job, that you got a man like this that's sitting right in the wings, ready to take over as defensive coordinator. I don't think that we go outside of the organization to fill these jobs. What do you think of that thought?
I love that. And I love listening to this guy speak. We've been saying it for 2 years, that when AG leaves, this is your new defensive coordinator in Detroit. And I love that one of the reporters asked him that question outright. Are you ready to be a DC? He said, I'll be lying if I said no. Heck yeah, he's ready. And he attributed all of that to Dan Campbell and to AG, Aaron Glenn, for giving him an ability to step into a leadership role now, even within his own room. He looks ready. He sounds ready. We've loved this guy since the day he came here. I think you're looking at your new Detroit Lions defensive coordinator for 2025 after Aaron Glenn gets a head coaching job. And what great words he said about AG and Dan Campbell. No other guy he'd rather learn from than Dan Campbell. Wow.
Yeah, it's like one of the things that we preach is like the next man up mentality, right? And there was no bigger game than last week, putting that all together like that. But this statement, it resonated with me because it makes me realize that next man up isn't just a player thing. It goes into the coaches things as well. So let's get back into this.
You have the turnover you've had in your room just by attrition. How difficult is it to teach the way you like to teach? What are some of the challenges you've faced in the last month and a half as you've incorporated some of these new pieces?
And once again, it has been challenging. I'm not going to kid you. I'm not some damn rocket scientist or something like that. I'm a football coach. But when you have guys, when I look to my right, and I got a guy like Sean Dion Hamilton, who's fully ready to run his own room as a linebacker coach. I look to my left, I got Dave Correa, who helps me with the edge guys, the OLB guys. And then I look in front of me, and I got Aaron Glenn. I'm all good. And then I look behind me, and I got the players that we've brought in here. Credit, Rob Lohman told me the other day, I don't got much left in the vault, though, Shep. So tell those guys to be careful. But man, from the front office down, but man, the players, it's about the players. It is and I say that not just as coach speak, it's just some cliche thing, man. If it's not for these guys, hell, I wouldn't be here. I live through these guys, I breathe through these guys. And yes, I have personal relationships with two of them, Jamal Adams and Quan Alexander. Those are my little brothers from LSU, absolutely. But I didn't know David Long before 3-4 weeks ago. I didn't know Zeke Turner before, 6-7 weeks ago. And these guys has come in. They've been coached different than my coaching style. I know that. But they know the standard, and I credit these guys to each and every one of them has stepped in here. Yes, sir. No, sir. This is the way we play. This is the way we do it. And they understand if you show that in practice, you're going to get opportunities on game day. So it just builds the belief.
You guys got 13 guys on IR. How do you feel this defense has been able to continue to overcome, like you say, just filling those roles? What do you feel like is the kind of the secret to success behind that, man?
I think it's a trickle down. When the players see the belief that we have in AG, and no matter who it is, what the call is, we expect a certain standard, and we actually live and breathe that. Because I have guys tell me this in my room now, man, guys talk about this, but the way y'all practice here, the way we prepare, this is different, man. So when they see the belief, when they see us living these things, I think it's a trickle down, and these guys buy in, and it's almost like, without knowing, they're doing anything you tell them. Like I had some come up in my room today where I was moving fast because the time I'm trying to teach training camp stuff, but at the same time prepare these guys to go against one of the most prolific offenses in the league this week. And you start going fast, and Jack's like, Coach, that thing did you mean to say that? And Jack would have never done that last year. He'd been scared to say anything. But now Jack's like, I'm like, oh no, I didn't. Like, and just I lean on not only the coaches, I lean on players. I lean on Alex Anzalone being in the back of the room, whispering to Quan and David Long, like, this is what he means. I know it's going fast, but this is kind of, and these guys know we have open dialogue, open policy. It's all respect, but to me, the word is belief.
There's not much left in the vault. Are you amazed at how deep the vault has gone already? I mean, some teams struggle to find a fourth, fifth, sixth liner.
Absolutely.
7, 8, 9.
I mean, I would be surprised if I hadn't been here for 4 years, but this is rare. And for these guys, for me to get guys in, and I like I said, I didn't even know Ezekiel's last name. I had never seen anything on him. And at the first practice, I'm like, whoa, this guy's fast. I'm like, all right, that's a starting point. Whoa, this guy's coachable. You know, and then you start to go down the list, and then he brings Quan. I have depth with Quan. You bring Jamal. All right, this is all pro Cal. Where are you finding these guys at? Like, how are they on the street? How are they available? And it's just the fine comb process here. Front office, coaching staff, players, like leaving no stone unturned. I credit them.
Specifically, what have you learned about him over this last 5-6 weeks?
I learned that he's not a special teams linebacker, and I want that said to the entire league. I believe this is his 7th year, and he was almost in tears after the last game just because of the opportunity. Pat O'Connor, these guys are in tears because they got an opportunity. And like I've said in those rooms, in these narratives, guys go first round, second round, they're supposed to start. Guys, the free agents, your special teams. That's what it's been, but that's not what it is here. If you show yourself and you show up in practice, you show that we could trust you. That's a big word. You show that we could trust you. I know for sure I'm going to give you the opportunity. Terrell Williams, these guys that we have playing, listen, kid, I'm very real. These guys haven't gotten many snaps in this league. And some of these guys are veteran players, but they come here, and that's what builds the belief when these guys know, like, if I do these things, I'm going to get opportunity. And I told Dan the other day, man, I would have loved this setup my 8th, 9th year. Like, where was this at? You can join a 11-1 team and step in here and help them get the 12th win and actually contribute. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That was the part right there that I remembered. That you got guys like Pat O'Connor that are like in tears because they go to these places, and because they were undrafted free agents or they were late round draft picks, that teams just kind of relegate them. You're just a special teams dude. You're never gonna really amount to anything. And this team gives opportunities. How did that make you feel when you heard him talking about that, Mike?
God, that was such a great outtake right there. The things that Kelvin Shepherd is saying, that fired me up, man. Do you hear some of them things in those last few sentences about where was this out? And when I was in my 8th and 9th year, where I could join a team heading to the playoffs and I can get on the field immediately and contribute. Believe me, what he's saying there is true, folks. All these players are buying in because of the belief that the coaches have in them. We wouldn't have brought you here if we didn't think you were going to contribute. We didn't bring you here to sit you on the bench. And that fires you up as a player. That fires you up as a human being. This guy's going to be a great defensive coordinator, probably a great head coach. Just the way that I was kind of peeking over at you, Russ, while he was talking. And you and I were exactly the same. We were glued to everything this guy is saying, because the points he's making are salient. They're relevant. He's not just up there, little diarrhea coming out of his mouth to get through an interview. He's being honest, genuine, and man, I love Kelvin Shepherd. I had not seen that interview yet. I did see the one with Scotty Montgomery, but I hadn't seen that one, so I'm so glad you played it for us today.
Well, I mean, just as a thing going forward, it's like I've kind of got their whole patterns down. So what I want to be able to do week to week, and I'm going to start to continue to do this, is Dan Campbell talks on Mondays and Tuesdays. The coordinators talk on Wednesday night. And then you got Dan Campbell on Thursday doing the final injuries or whatever they're talking about on there. And then they have there's player interviews that are in there too. And they do it every week at the same time right here. And I love listening to the coordinators, especially the ones that aren't like the offense and defensive coordinators, like these guys, like David Phipp, some of these guys that are like more the hands-on guys that are there every day working with the players. But got a couple more minutes left on this one right here. Do you want to keep going, or
you're talking about Kelvin Sheppard? He's the linebackers coach,
right?
But we're sitting here listening to a linebackers coach intently. But I don't think there's any question that's going to be your new defensive coordinator next year for the Lions. And when that is announced next year, nobody's going to be surprised.
Oh, but it might be an embarrassment of riches, Mike, because I know that you think it's a shoe-in because you're listening to him talk right now. But what about Terrell Williams? Like, I think Terrell Williams came right in here, and that could be your new defensive coordinator, depending on what that is. Look at what he has done with the defensive line. And but I haven't heard him out here talking like Kelvin Sheppard is.
And Terrell Williams, Dan Campbell says the best defensive line coach in the league, but he's been in the coaching twice as long as Kelvin Sheppard, and he hasn't made it to defensive coordinator yet.
And maybe he don't want it.
Maybe he don't want it, but I see Kelvin Sheppard as a rising star in this league. I could absolutely see other teams poaching our linebackers coach to be their DC. If Aaron Glenn doesn't move on, I could totally see somebody picking him right off our coaching staff to be their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and it's going to be one or the other. And that's the beautiful thing about it. But I know that there is compensatory draft pick game that you can play with your coaches now, especially when you're promoting African-American coaches to higher pay grades. I mean, I think it would be really, really cool to watch them progress all of these coaches. You know, Aaron Glenn moves on, well, Kelvin Sheppard moves up, right? If Ben Johnson moves on, there's no doubt in my mind that Scotty Montgomery is probably going to be an offensive coordinator. So all of the guys, all the answers for, oh, what are you going to do? Yeah, well, it's already here. It's not on the staff. We're not going to bring in somebody from the outside. Since when did we do that? So, but I love this interview. There's about 5 more minutes left.
Speaking of opportunity, you were talking about getting a chance to talk in front of the whole defense. When that happens, do you get noticed a day or two before? Is it spur of the moment? And if you do get noticed, you do some extra prep?
No. Anytime Dan's asked me to speak to the team every year I've been here, AG, I speak in front of the defense every week. A couple days throughout the week, and no, it's just all raw and natural, and that's what I think is different here. Like, nobody's walking up in front of players with some wrote down reading. It's all raw, authentic, it's genuine information, it's genuine knowledge, it's genuine feelings, and it's honesty at times that most coaches wouldn't do that in front of players, but they'll go upstairs and do it and then come down and smile in the player's face. That's where the disconnect happens in a lot of buildings. Whatever's said upstairs is said downstairs here, and that's throughout the entire situation in every room in this building.
Quan, it's a guy that grew up 2 hours down the road from where you grew up, went to LSU, kind of similar NFL story, a lot of different teams, having played a lot of different roles, and wondering what the relationship was before he got here, and how much of, I guess, a kinship do you feel to a guy that's kind of lived a similar life to you?
Yep, and we had a similar career besides he got like a $50 million contract. Shep never. Like, I wanted that to be noted. We're similar but different there. Yes, like, just as far as our path, yes, it is similar, and like, it's unique. Like, these guys, I've hung out with these guys. Like, these guys know me on a personal level. But I will say, you'll never know it. He says the word sir more than anybody in the room. I'm like, Quan. Like, just say Shep. I'm good. Like, but it's Coach Shep. Jamal, too, it's yes, sir. It's no, sir. Because I think they feel like the passion. They feel like I'm willing to do whatever I have to prepare you to play these 60 minutes. Now I need you to hold your end of the stick. And these guys have done that, man. A phenomenal story he has, overcoming 3 major surgeries in the NFL and still standing up on two feet and playing the way he did the other night. I mean, he was sitting up on the practice squad in Denver waiting on opportunity after causing 2 turnovers up there. And here it came with us that he never thought. But I mean, it's just like I said, I cannot credit the players enough. These guys, whether they're my friends, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, or whether it's Ezekiel Turner, David Long, guys I never spoke to a day in my life. It's day one respect. We meet each other in the middle of the road, and it is what it is. And we all know we got to come and go.
Josh Allen off the top, just what makes him special?
He's a freak. Josh Allen is a freak. He's right up there with our guy. Those are the elite of the lead in the league. We understand what we're dealing with. This is a dual threat guy. He can beat you from the pocket and outside the pocket. I mean, he brings it all to the table. I became an ultra competitor. I mean, he lays it on the line for his team. Critical moments, he wants the ball. Those are the kind of guys you want to be around in this profession. And I know we're going against him, but I want to give him his credit. Like, this guy's the real deal, and we're going to prepare for him as such. And I know AG's putting together a great plan, and we're going out today to practice it, and we'll be ready for these guys come Sunday.
Skill set that he could play, in the box, a little bit more linebacker. Obviously, been a safety his whole career. Just what did you see in him that maybe you could do kind of multiple things for you guys?
For me, it's his mindset. Like, I take away any of that other stuff. If you have the correct mindset, it's my job as a coach to work with you from there, I feel like. And, again, AG brought me in. He asked me how could I use him in my room, I thought. Then AG gave me his ideas. We combined that, and we found a role for this player in the game. And he went out. We thought it would be a larger role, but due to the way the game went, the way Green Bay kind of played us and attacked us, the packages were different. But in his plays that he did have, I felt like he was a factor. I feel like he did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He's a freaking dynamic type of down safety in the box type player, and that kind of translate well with some of the things we do at certain positions in my room. So I credit him because he said, I've never done this. The first day I told him, go hit the sled. He's like, huh? I'm like, go hit the sled. He's like, yes, sir. And it's that mentality. It's all about, in the game of football, you got to have trust, accountability, and a mentality. And from there, it's up to the coaching staff to prepare you to go play.
How much do you value that collaborative process with AG in terms of finding out what guys do well?
Oh, I value it tremendously because, again, I have a lot of close friends that work in the college level and this level, and I just hear their stories. And I'm like, bro, it's not like that over here. Like, you can speak your mind over here. Like, they value your opinion over here. If you have something good, they're going to use it in the game plan over here. And they're like, what? And that's why, I mean, everybody wants to play and coach for AG. That's why everybody wants to play and coach for Coach Campbell, because there's not some box they try to put you in here. They try to maximize everyone in the building, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players. And somebody like me that didn't get afforded a lot of opportunities like that and was kind of put in certain boxes during my playing career, like, I appreciate that open-minded concept that we have here.
Wow. That blows my mind. When I listen to him speak like that, I love the way that they use the players. They speak their mind. Wow, you're allowed to speak in front of the team as a positions coach? Yeah, because we're developing coaches too. How cool is that, Mike?
Yeah, so cool. So cool. And what interesting comments he made there. How around the league, it's getting known that, hey, if you come to Detroit, they're not going to just treat you like a piece of cattle and put you in a box and say, this is your role, stay in your lane. Your opinion is welcome, all right? Your suggestions are welcome, and they might just get used. I mean, you can translate that, what he just said, to business. Have you ever worked for a company where you're just pushed off to the back and no one really cares? Just do your job. Don't try to change anything. We don't need your input. And you feel so less important. You feel like you're just going through the motions. And it kind of pulls back the veil on the NFL a little bit, those comments by Kelvin Shepherd, that applies to the NFL too. Sure, it's a job. It's still a job, just like the job you and I go to every day. And they face those same challenges of not letting their voice be heard. And Detroit is a place where their voice can be heard. That's why you're seeing that, folks, in a nutshell, is what a culture change is. We talked about it 3-4 years ago. He's going to change the culture. Change the culture. What does that mean? I think you just heard what that meant. I think you just see Kelvin Shepherd's comments embody what that means.
And they continue to overcome injuries, and I think that he actually did shed some light right there on why. It's because these guys come in, they know what they can do. They know what they can do beforehand. Like when I love the way that he talked about Jamal Williams, even though I got the Jack Campbell thing up, but I wanted to know what your thoughts of what he's saying about Jack Campbell, especially like the last month. This guy's been playing at an all-pro level. He's been one of the best linebackers in the NFL. You can document it. You can look at how he's progressed, but he shed some light on what Jack Campbell has meant to this defensive transformation. What do you feel about his?
Yeah, there was a little tidbit in there too that was kind of enlightening for me. The pre-draft process of Jack Campbell, Kelvin Sheppard was involved in that. Something you and I didn't know. I never knew that. I did not know that Kelvin Sheppard was involved in choosing that draft pick. Look, hey, we're going to get a linebacker for you here, Kelvin. Who you like, right? I mean, I don't know that was said, but he just indicated there that me, Brad, and Dan, and that's how he said it, me, Brad, and Dan, before we drafted this guy, we knew what we were getting. That was a revelation to me, and that kind of highlights what Kelvin Sheppard was saying there. He was involved in the decision of the player that they're going to put in his room. Folks, that is putting you in a position to succeed. When you have a hand in it, and I like to call it the choke factor. Who do I choke when it goes wrong, right? Because he actually had a hand. Now, if Jack Campbell were to flop on his face and be a bust in this league, Kelvin Sheppard would have no one else to point to and say, that guy drafted me a bum. No, I love it. I just love it. And believe me, if businesses around the world were to invest in their employees and take the suggestions from their employees where the rubber meets the road, they would do much better. It was Henry Ford, in fact, who said his business didn't turn the corner until he went down on the assembly line and started talking to the workers and finding out what needed to change and what needed to be better. And that's when the Ford Motor Company made a turn and became profitable. So I think that's a good lesson. And what Kelvin Sheppard said there just highlights that.
And we get to have especially some of these players. And now when you look at why, maybe you didn't see the why they drafted these players at the time, but like 3 years later, when you see the type of guys, they saw Pascal, we're like, oh, he's going to be the guy, but they saw him as one of the pieces. He's going to be there. He's going to be there with Hutchinson. Jack Campbell, he's going to develop. He's going to be one of those pieces. You can't teach somebody how to be 6'5" and fast. And then it's just a matter of downloading the information into his supercomputer. And that's what's happened with Jack Campbell. That's what happened with you get a guy like Quan Alexander that came in, played successful the first week. Well, it's because Kelvin Sheppard has a relationship with this guy. He's like, you go in, he would know how to coach that guy. He's played with that guy before. That guy's made more money than him as a linebacker.
And you look at
a certain kind of way about it.
Scotty Montgomery, Kelvin Sheppard, Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, all former NFL players. And that breeds a certain amount of respect in the locker room as well. When they speak, it carries a lot more weight than Mike McDaniel or even Kyle Shanahan when they speak, in a way. Sure, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They're accomplished coaches. But you can only imagine, I mean, my job in my day job, when I get a new supervisor who's never done my job, every time he says something to me, it just kind of bounces off of me because he doesn't really know. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't really know. Until you've done it, you don't really know. And I think that we can take that parable and draw that right here with what Kelvin Sheppard is saying about the defense. He's been there, to your point, Russ. He knows these guys, and they're going to play hard for him. They want to play hard for him because they want him to succeed because that's their boy.
Yeah, Chad believes us, man. Shep's going to take over for AG, and they're both qualified for it. Jeremy being probably talking about Terrell Williams and Kelvin Sheppard, and we got an embarrassment of riches. I'm not Jeremy, do you guys want to cover a little college football? Because I got a question. The entire Marshall football team, every player under the enter the portal in college. Is this the worst death penalty for a program? All their players, every one of them.
You're talking about a university who lost all of their players in a plane crash before, and the football program went on. So no, I think that the football program has boosters. They'll continue to have the football. I mean, obviously, this is a mutiny, right? This is obviously something to do with the coach. So no, I think they'll get a new coach. They'll restock. They might be down for a while, but the death penalty for a program, these colleges are big time money now. Athletics, everything has changed, especially now with NIL. No. Marshall will be back. The Thundering Herd will return. Besides, who else they got in West Virginia? The Mountaineers?
Wah, wah. When you line up in the lines, you find a new level. Is it coaching, or is it culture, or is it both?
You've had enough of that shit. We're going to bite a kneecap off.
I think that he's built it. You know, I mean, there was a statement that Dan Campbell made, like, I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, where he's like, we don't want turds here. Look, man, we're not going to have turds. We don't allow turds here. And I think that's what it comes down to it, because really, if you find the right guy with the right mentality, and really with non-turds aren't going to complain about the loss. They're not going to whine about the referees. They're going to just put their head down. They're going to go to work. They're going to try to get better every single day. They're not emotional. You know, in the moment, they identify these types of players that have it together here, you know, mentally. And then they train the shit out of them. They put them through our little grind system that we have. And I guarantee that everybody that comes here talk about the practices. And they're like, it's just, I don't know what to tell you other than it's just different here. It's just different. And I think that there's a competition that's within their practices that's like playing a game. I wouldn't see it because I don't show it to the public. They never show the nuts and bolts of these practices and what they're really doing. But it feels like it's like a competition, right? You know, throw the ball through the hole. Whoever's going to do it and harder and longer, they're going to try to do this move. You try to beat that. I don't know how they identify it, but the ones that win those contests earn their playing time. And it doesn't matter if you're undrafted free agent A guy or drafted in the first round B guy. Hey, if you get outworked, you get outworked, dude. Get to the back of the line. And that's why we're winning. I believe that with all my heart. That mentality.
Yeah,
that's
to your
culture.
To your point, I love what was Zadarius Smith after his very first practice with the Lions said, the way these guys practice, I can see why they're 11-1. I can see why they're 10-1. It's easy to see the way these guys practice. So there's definitely something going on there. And I think that comes directly from having your coaches as former players. They know what a good practice is. They know what's too much. They know where the line is. Of course, there's that famous speech by Dan Campbell, who when he made them put the pads on right at the end of the week before the game, and the guys are groaning about it. And he's like, look, I know that this is the way. I know it. I know this is the way. Trust me on this one. So all I think about is you guys. Right? I mean, what a great speech. Make you want to run through a wall for that guy. And Zadarius Smith, after his first practice, he just kind of highlighted that.
And those certain guys, you know, they elevate to that type of stuff, because I know what it's like to be like a musician, and then you know, and then you go, you know, work with a different group of musicians. And, you know, and if you work with a really, really, really good group of musicians, then you start feeling good about it, right? And then I'll go work with a group of musicians that aren't as good as these other musicians. And then you go, you know, it's missing that little ooh, that you don't want to push as hard. You don't want to go as hard. Oh, okay. I've already been on something. And it's hard to muster up the energy to want to get better day to day when it's like that. But these guys are being put in a place where they can push themselves, right? So anybody that would feel the way that I would feel, like going to a different spot where you're like, because you don't want to complain about guys not living up to it. You just want to be around a whole bunch of guys that are just about it, right? You're like, oh yeah, this is where I want to be. That's why Jamal Adams is feeling so, yes sir, no sir, because he appreciates, he's been in the league, he's been around other organizations that ain't been shit, and it's like, oh God, I don't even want to be here today. And then when they get to a place like this, hell yeah, I'll give you my talents, I'll give you 110%, hell yeah. And that's why they want to come. That's what the culture breeds. And so now you get these guys, talented players like Quan Alexander, like he said, 2 weeks ago, he's got 2 sacks, produces in a game, but, they end up putting him back down on the practice squad because he's older. It's like, okay, we'll give you an opportunity here. Shoot, Quan Alexander was on a lot of people's short list at the beginning of the season to sign to a big deal here. And we just get him for a bag of chips in the middle of the season?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's pretty amazing. And I don't want to blow hard too much, because I remember I told you that Restream had a weakness, and that if you go over an hour, well, I was wrong about that. That's only if we want to put a recorded thing up for an hour. We can do this as long as we want. We can go over an hour. And we have. And we did that today.
Well, I got to jump off here, Russ, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for having me. Don't forget, I'll be back on Monday morning for the Villain Report with Russell Rain on this very program. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Detroit Lions victory over the Buffalo Bills. Follow me on all social medias at Main Event Mike. Everybody have a great day. God bless you.
That's Main Event Mike. It's lock pick on the 15, and I was getting ready to say goodbye to everybody too, because I've had a lot of fun today. We made all of our picks. Got to listen to some Kelvin Shepherd get extremely motivated. I dig it. I had some fun in here today, but I do want to go back to the comments one more time, see what everybody's got saying before I let you guys go. Steve says that every mock draft board has Detroit winning the Super Bowl. Okay. Or their guts out like Skip did last week. Let's go. Smoking Jeremy B said AG is the odds-on favorite to get that New Orleans job next year.
You like that?
I like that. I do, because I do believe that the defense will move on, and that Kelvin Shepherd would make a great defensive coordinator. How about you? 10 to 15 years, NFL's talking about Campbell coaching tree for sure. Gotta love it. This is Scotty Montgomery's second year here. Don't sleep on Tanner. Okay, I like that. Our passing game coordinator, Ben Johnson, has been grooming for 3 years. I don't mind that at all. But I listen to Scotty Montgomery, and that is a leader. Thank you. Yes, hey, thank you, Jeremy, and thank you for turning me on to Restream, because I got a feeling that this is going to take this podcast to a new level, because I'm having fun using it already, and I already see some things that I can get going for sure. What a sneaky good acquisition. So many injuries, but everyone is stepping up. Fill in the gaps. Putting players in position to succeed. For sure. Thank you, John. Thank you.
You like that?
That's true leadership from a head coach down. The ability to say, hey, I don't have all the answers. What do you think? What's your opinion?
You like that?
Above that one. Brad says we bring clipboards instead of stopwatches to the combines. We feel like the interview process is more important. And and we see these guys on film. Words carry more weight. I believe that. Dan sounds like Elvis. Hey, come on, baby. I agree it's competitive, but with the strongest bond I've seen in the pro, Sonic and Knuckles are besties. The secondary get together to watch Thursday night football. It's definitely family oriented. How about Terrell Williams as a head coach? I'm not seeing it, you know. Some guys are just good at coaching players. I don't know if he's there yet. I mean, maybe as a defensive coordinator, but maybe. You know, it could. It could. What's up, West Coast Mobley? Gotta like that.
You like that? Say hello to my little friend.
That's good stuff. Wow, I'm glad I got to involve everybody in the comments right there. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on here. This is the Lion Villain Report. You can join me Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. We talking football. Tomorrow we're going to be talking more about this game, man. We're going to be talking more about this game coming up on Sunday in one of the prime time slots at 4:30. Lions versus Bills, baby. It's war games. We've got 4 games left, 4 weeks left. Minnesota Vikings hot on our tail. Big shout out to our fan page, Villain Squad. Getting over 60,000 followers. Thank you to everybody who acknowledged the villain.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah. Thank you, the ones that acknowledge us on Facebook or acknowledge us on YouTube.
Acknowledge me.
So I appreciate that. It's faith, family, and then football. In that order. That's the way we do it here. Faith, family, and then football. We use football to spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. We use football to create memories. We don't let football use us. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on the show today. God bless you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for the Villain Report.
Hey yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we winning it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity. Your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.